Yeah, so that was my initial reaction to watching this show. She-Hulk. Well, let's just say it's the worst show in the MCU by far. Yeah, it's even worse than WandaVision. It literally started off bad, got worse, got better in the 8th episode, and then got even worse than it originally started from in the 9th episode. I think it's safe to say that, oh mommy does this show suck. The best part about it was probably Daredevil, but even he wasn't enough to make the show watchable, mainly because he was only in the 8th episode and a little bit in the 9th. This show tries to be way too funny at times and completely fails. The funniest parts of the show was when Daredevil was in it, and I agreed those parts were good because he always seemed to put a smile on my face. But whenever She-Hulk tried to be funny, I just cringed. Like, you can literally go on Google and you'll find that it's supposed to be a comedy show, but never did the actual protagonist make me laugh, which is really sad. Like, remember the days when the MCU actually was funny? Now She-Hulk is just not funny. It's just dumb is all I can say. It tries to be funny, and that was similar to Thor: Love and Thunder, and basically any MCU TV shows or movies these days. And these bad jokes actually take up time instead. They could be developing the character, but no, they had to throw in bad jokes like a fucking twerking scene. Like, what was the goal there? Just throw in a twerking scene and hope for some children to laugh? Like, that's one of the crucial problems I have with this show. It replaces good character building scenes with jokes just because it's a comedy show. Like, you can have a comedy with well-developed characters, because that's what happened in Guardians of the Galaxy. But no, the writers were like, screw it, and threw in a twerking scene.
Eat it up, go play, okay, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I think I established to you low-lies why the comedy absolutely sucks. But now let's talk about the CGI. Okay, so has the MCU really been known for its CGI? Well, sometimes, like with Thanos, Ultron, Iron Man's original suits. That was all impeccable. But now we got things like Thor: Love and Thunder, She-Hulk, all that. It's just disappointing. Yeah, so I just want you to take a look at this and tell me if this is good or not.
Yeah, come at me, bro!
Yeah, anyone with some part of a brain would know that that looks worse than Scooby-Doo CGI. And y'all know that shit is bad. Like, come on, even the DCEU has way better CGI than this. This is one of the crucial factors that contribute to why this show sucks and is so unrealistic. Because you can't take anything serious even when it is serious, because of how bad the special effects are. Okay, so what are my thoughts on the She-Hulk finale? The episode 9, well, in 2 words, it's dog shit. Literally, the villain was predicted from like episode 3. Here, let me show you a video.
Spoiled the She-Hulk villain. So in episode 4 of She-Hulk, Jen goes on a date with this weird guy named Todd. And if you go in the credits, he's listed as playing Hulk Todd. And Todd asks Jen if her skin was indestructible on the date, meaning he's the one trying to get her blood.
And it turns out this idiot is actually the main villain of the show. And that's not even the worst part of the finale. The predicted villain was fine, but the actual writing was arse. And I don't mean a super smooth baby's ass. I mean a straight up wrinkly, hairy ass that belongs to an old man. So let me explain to you guys the plot in case you haven't seen She-Hulk episode 9, which is very understandable, by the way, don't feel ashamed of yourself. Hulk Todd steals Jen's blood and then turns into a really shitty Hulk. Then Titania from the previous few episodes shows up. And then Hulk Todd tries to attack Jen, but Abomination steps in and stops him. And then Smart Hulk shows up and fights Abomination. And then Jen, magically, without an explanation, goes onto the Marvel Disney Plus screen. I am not kidding. This is part of the story, then proceeds to break into Marvel Studios and talks to Kevin. No, not Kevin Feige. It's a fucking robot named Kevin. So if we just repeat this story to ourselves, are we sure that this is well written? Because I'm losing brain cells just talking about it. So I think it's safe to say that this story is on par with the story from Star Wars to Attack of the Clones. But one of the good parts of this episode is when She-Hulk acknowledges how bad the story is, until the representation of her in the story also is really, really bad. So what about the rating of this episode? Well, I'd give it a 1 out of 10, and I'm pretty sure I explained in thorough detail why. It is very, very stupid. And for the entire show, well, remove the 8th episode and it'd be also a 1 out of 10, but I'd give it a 2 out of 10 just because of the 8th episode. Buying stuff.